So you're a new electric player at your church, you've been playing acoustic for a good long while, and you get to the service, you get to the rehearsal, you're ready to go, but you don't really know what to do. You've been playing cowboy chords, open chords, you've been playing for a good long while, you've been playing some bar chords, but you don't really know what to do with an electric. You just think it's a guitar. I'm just gonna play it like I play my guitar. Here's the problem, is you probably have an acoustic player standing right over there that is doing the same thing. That is just playing the open chords, playing the song the way that it's written, like an acoustic player normally would, keeping on the rhythm and keeping the chord progression going. So if you have the two guitars that are sounding relatively different, playing the exact same chord voicings, they tend to get messy around each other. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense in the mix, especially. Let me give you an example. So let's say we're looking at this within the context of just a regular, like, 5-piece worship band, like what most churches, mine included, often has. So we have an acoustic guitar, a keys player, a bass player, a drummer, and then an electric guitarist, and then obviously some vocalists. But from an instrumental perspective, you've got a 5-piece band, meaning you have an acoustic guitarist and an electric guitarist playing at the same time. Now, if they play the exact same thing, as you'll see in this clip coming up, it's gonna sound a little funky. So you notice that sounded fine. You've got the acoustic and the electric playing the exact same thing, the exact same chord voicings, capo to the first fret, so they're both in the same key. And it sounds okay, but it sounds like there's kind of too much going on. They're taking up the exact same frequency ranges, they're playing the exact same things. Even though the tones of the instruments are a little bit different because one is dry acoustic guitar signal and the other is an electric going through some pedals, they still take up the same space in that circumstance there. Now, if we shift that, we take what the electric is playing and make that a little bit different. You push that up the fretboard to a higher area of the neck. So you're going up to, so if we're playing an E flat, right? We were playing in D, capoed on the first fret to be an E flat. You slide up the neck, you're gonna play starting on the 11th fret and moving up the scale. For E flat, playing more lead liney stuff. And I don't mean just constantly solo through the whole thing, but I mean for the context of this, that's kind of how it turns out because it's just the two instruments in the clip. But let's go ahead and look at that. So you can see how those kind of play off each other a little bit differently. You got the acoustic guitar playing, the exact same thing as before. Nothing changed there. It's the chord progression of the song. And then you have the electric kind of playing some nice little lead lines to accent it, some single note stuff or double note stuff in a different area of the fretboard, meaning that you're not taking up the exact same space. You're filling a little bit of a different area where the acoustic isn't getting at the moment. And that's a great thing to do. That means you're taking up more of the frequency range, more of the space of the sound, which your goal as an electric guitarist isn't just to take up space, but it's to help fill out the sound of the band as a whole. So if you're playing in a different frequency space than just the acoustic guitar, it's gonna be a little bit different and help it feel a little bit fuller. So play farther up the neck and play some little leady stuff. If you're just playing open chords exactly like an acoustic guitar would be, it's just gonna sound kind of overpowering, overwhelming, especially if you have overdrive going. You noticed in that first clip, I had the overdrive, kind of just a lighter drive, but still some drive in there. And it just sounded like too much, especially when you're hitting just open 6-string chords like that. Now, I wanna say, I know every church is different, every church's sound is different, and every church has different access to different musicians. Sometimes you're gonna have you know, an electric is the only guitar you have, and so it kind of has to fill some more space and be a little more open and stay more towards the lower end of the fretboard. Or some churches might have 2 acoustic players, and one kind of sits in the rhythm ends down at the low part of the fretboard, and one kind of takes that lead range from an acoustic area, which can be really cool. But I'm kind of talking more broadly with just a standard, you know, 5-piece band setup with keys, acoustic, electric, bass, and drums. So in that perspective, you let the acoustic kind of take that low end of the fretboard pretty open, and this isn't like a rule, but it's something to definitely keep in mind when you're playing with another guitarist, especially an acoustic player. They're gonna stay down towards the low end of the fretboard and play those open chords because they're kind of the rhythm keepers when it comes to a band like that, other than, you know, the drummer. But the acoustic is really the driving force in a lot of worship bands like that, especially because keys are often a more laid-back sound, or even kind of a lead instrument like the electric guitar can be. So you have the acoustic playing down like that, keeping, you know, driving that rhythm in and those big full open chords to fill out some space. And so the electric kind of is filling a different gap and staying up towards the end of the fretboard. So you really don't play these instruments the same way as each other in these contexts. Now, this isn't talking about a rock band or anything else. This is talking about, you know, just regular worship music with those instruments. So obviously these rules don't apply to every style of music, every genre of music, but with that set of instruments, which is pretty standard and typical in a lot of churches, that's kind of the best way to make that work. And if you're going to do some rhythm stuff, which is totally fine, make sure your chord voicings are different than what the acoustic player is doing. So if the acoustic player is playing an open G, maybe play like a power chord G higher up the fretboard, or even just a bar chord G, so it's not exactly the same voicing as what that other acoustic player is playing. That way you're still taking up a little bit of a different space. It's not clashing, sounding exactly the same, because that's definitely something that can happen when those two guitars are playing exactly the same thing, even if their tone is a little bit different. So at the end of the day, just don't play your electric exactly like acoustic. Take the time to learn how to play in the context. If you're playing it exactly like an acoustic, you know, you come in there and you just start strumming along like you would if you were holding an acoustic guitar, it's not gonna sound quite right with your acoustic guitarist there too. So just learn to play in the context of your band. Do whatever that looks like. I'm just trying to help out the people who are in a similar context to me, where you have an acoustic player driving it, and then, you know, the electric kind of adds some accent throughout the whole thing, which is a really cool sound, and I like that a lot. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you would like to see more content like this, or more content like about gear, shoot a comment down below. Just let me know what you'd like to see in the future. I've got some ToneX videos talking about the new updates coming here soon, with that update releasing on November 14th. That's this week, this Thursday or Friday, I believe. So I'm super excited for that. We'll have some more stuff coming out for you relatively once a week. I think once a week is kind of settled into the frequency for this channel. So thanks again for watching. Like, subscribe, share, leave a comment down below. I'll see you later.
3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.